like to say when people ask me what I like about DigitalOcean is that we have structure without bureaucracy. There are things in place if you want to feel supported and you want to feel like you have a team to work with, but that doesn't mean that everything has to work exactly how it did before. My name is Netta Bob. I am on the recruiting team at DigitalOcean, and I've been here for about 3.5 years. I mainly work with engineering, customer support, and infrastructure. I actually started on our recruiting team as a coordinator, and I was the only coordinator on the team. I felt really in charge of my own domain. So even though I was the most junior person on the team, people would come to me when they needed what I owned, and I could make any changes I wanted and, run it by the team without asking permission. Was really trusted to do my work my way and contribute to the team from my own expertise. Applying to a job can be really intimidating, but as a recruiter, when I meet with my hiring managers, sometimes they're not 100% sure what they're looking for. They're still figuring it out, they're still working through it, and they're not updating a job description regularly. So they might see your profile and it might not exactly match up to what they thought they needed when they opened the role or wrote the job description 3 months ago. But that idea is changing, especially for a company like us that's growing and adding new roles. Even if the role isn't open right now, get your name in there and get your resume looked at, and we'll reach back out to you. Interviewing is a skill, and as much you can get practice at doing it, it's gonna just help you in the next interview. You don't wanna be beat out by someone who just had better interviewing skills, because it doesn't mean that they're gonna be better at the job or they deserve the job more than you. It just means that they either had more practice or it's just a skill that comes more easily, but it's not about whether or not they or you are more deserving of that job. When you're starting a job search, it's really important to understand what you're looking for. Recruiters and hiring managers will always be asking what you are hoping to work on, what kind of team you want to be a part of. And it's important to get those priorities straight for you ahead of time so that you can be discerning. You don't want to be going down a path of getting excited about a company and then you don't know what questions to ask. You don't know whether or not to take a role or not. Every single interview is a chance to learn more about a job that you might like, not necessarily just a job that might like you. So if you know that ahead of time, you can be asking the questions at every step. So I think understanding your own priorities will help you be more discerning about what companies are going to work for you. I definitely always ask people what their priorities are in their job search. They can tell me about whether or not it's the work that they're looking for, the company that they're interested in, or the type of team they want to be a part of. Really, I'm trying to figure out if DigitalOcean is a good match for you or if you're a good match for DigitalOcean. So that question always helps. So we had a candidate interview for a role where they just weren't quite experienced enough in the specific technologies that we were looking for. The team liked her and thought that she was a good fit for DigitalOcean overall, but for the role that they were looking to fill in the moment, it just wasn't the right fit. And so I spoke to her and I told her if we ever opened a more junior role, we'd be in touch. And then 3 days later, the team reached back out to me and told me they were going to be opening a more junior role. So very luckily and very quickly, I was able to catch her while she was still in her interviewing process and bring her back in to have one final conversation with the manager. And then we were able to move forward and bring her in. The same advice I give all my friends that are ever applying for jobs or start a job search is just to go for it. It can be intimidating to just jump in, but all the pieces of job searching are skills that you can learn. Reading job descriptions to understand what works for you, interviewing, networking, all of those pieces just take time and experience. So other people aren't better than you at those because they're better at it. They're better because they've just done it more. So you just got to go for it and not be embarrassed because everyone's been there.